In 2016, there was the Slayer, and it made for good times. Not for the minions of Hell-infested Mars and id Software's sequel/soft reboot to its legendary first-person shooter series, but the fun didn't stop as it returned to the series' roots and offered fast-paced brutal combat with minimal fuss. Such was the success of the new glory kills that other shooters tried, and most failed, to emulate the same. However, it didn't all truly begin here. Doom 2016 offers some deceptively deep lore and confirms what some had suspected, that the Slayer wasn't a brand new entity. Instead, he has ties to the first human to truly square up against the demonic forces, the Doom Marine. With Doom: The Dark Ages launching this May and exploring the origins of the Doom Slayer in a demonic medieval setting, it's a good time to familiarize yourself with the beginning. Who was the Doom Marine? How did he become the Doom Slayer? What is the connection between the classic Doom series and the post-2016 titles? To detail all of that, we'll need to go back to 1993 when the first game launched. Back when id Software was still independent and fresh off the success of Wolfenstein 3D, it began work on a new engine and a new title. The goal was fast-paced action in a futuristic setting with more gore and a much darker atmosphere. Though originally planned to have a deeper plot, those were stripped away for the sake of pacing and near-constant combat. It starts on Mars, in a facility set up by Union Aerospace Corporation, while players control a relatively unknown Marine. While things seem uneventful enough, the UAC has been experimenting with teleportation, causing demons to invade the dimension. They strike Phobos, Mars' larger moon, causing the Marine to venture out with a squad and answer a distress call on its base. Unfortunately, the team is decimated, leaving only the player to complete the mission, kickstarting the game. Battling through various facilities from the base's nuclear plant to mission control and central processing, the Marine arrives at the anomaly where two Barons of Hell await. Despite overcoming both enemies, there's still no path home. Unlike Phobos, the forces of Hell have begun warping their surroundings, resulting in lava, flesh walls, blood pools, and other environmental anomalies. New demons also stand in the Marine's way as he ventures to the next big bad, the Cyber Demon. Victory is obtained in short enough order, he finally meets the Spider Demon, who mastermind everything. Of course, the Marine emerges victorious with some help from the BFG 9000. Unfortunately, this is only the beginning of his troubles, as the demons have invaded his home planet, which leads to Doom 2. The world is in ruins, and there isn't much to do but lock and load. Doom 2 ventures across 30 levels. The remnants of humanity plan to abandon the planet through the starport. It's easier said than done thanks to the enemy guarding it, but together with other soldiers, the Marine breaks through, allowing the rest of humanity to escape. He also discovers that the demonic forces have been emerging from his hometown, and upon slaying them, a new path to hell is discovered. There's only one way to close it. Naturally, the Marine pulls it off. Earth, or what's left of it, is saved. Now seems like a good time to talk about what was new in Ultimate Doom and involved Tim Willits, who's since gone on to become Chief Creative Officer for Saber Interactive of Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 fame. It provides a bit more context on how the forces of Hell ended up on Earth to set up the events of Doom 2. As it turns out, this was the work of the Spider Mastermind. Though the Marine battles through a city full of demons, it's not enough to stop them from overrunning the Earth. You also have Final Doom, which added new content, each with 32 levels, TNT Evolution and the Plutonia Experiment. After all the chaos wrought by the UAC's experiments, you would think they'd dial it back and not try to mess with Hell's forces. Alas, the experimentation begins anew. In TNT Evolution, the corporation tries their luck on Jupiter. However, when a gateway to Hell opens, the attached squad of Marines handedly disposes of them. Things are seemingly on the mend for the UAC, until one of its ships is revealed to have emerged from Hell, with demons laying waste to their entire base. Away from the base on a walk and thus avoiding the initial onslaught, it's up to the Doom Marine to slay the demons once again. If only things ended there and humanity stopped messing with other dimensions, but alas. The Plutonia experiment sees the UAC under new management, and despite still having a base on Jupiter, it's now working at the behest of Earth's governments to forestall future invasions. These include quantum accelerators intent on closing gateways. Experiments attract the demons, and while a gate opens, it's also successfully shut. The forces of Hell thus come up with a new plan: open a ring of multiple gates at the same time. Despite closing off 6 gates, the 7th endures, and the demons thus pour forth, overrunning the base while the gatekeeper stands guard. As you might have guessed, it's up to Doom Marine, who ventures into the base alone once more to stop the demons. He eventually succeeds, taking down the gatekeeper, and it's all happily ever after. Or it would be in another universe, but this. Instead, we arrive at Doom 64. The UAC's facilities have been abandoned due to their radiation levels, necessitating a quarantine. However, one satellite observes something and informs Earth's government. It's a being that's capable of bringing the demons back to life with its powerful healing abilities. Not wasting any time, the Doom Marine is called forth once more to defeat them. Except this time, the demons are ready. This results in the Marine being sent to Hell, the Doom equivalent of "I'm not locked in here with you," etc., etc., eventually obtaining a laser-based weapon that becomes the most powerful in the game. He confronts the Mother Demon, the new big bad, and defeating her, the Doom Marine decides to stay in Hell and combat the demons, ideally to prevent any further invasion plans. This would be the setup for Doom: The Dark Ages, which then leads into Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. However, in the 2020 port of Doom 64, id Software added a new campaign called The Lost Levels. It involves the Doom Marine taking on Resurrector, the sister of the Mother Demon. The latter banishes him out of Hell and onto an Earth base, but he eventually returns to wreak more havoc. The end message further cements the Marine's decision to stay in Hell, noting that Resurrector's plans had failed and that a grim vision takes hold of your mind as the demon carcasses steam in your wake. Stretched before you is a path of perpetual torment, a path through doom. Whether it's obvious or not, this is meant to segue into Doom 2016, though this would have been before plans to develop the Dark Ages even began. The lore in Doom Eternal helped flesh out a few things, like the Slayer arriving in another dimension, and through various twists and turns, ended up joining the Night Sentinels to slay demons. It was only through trickery that he would end up sealed in a sarcophagus before Dr. Samuel Hayden retrieved it and brought it back to the Union Aerospace Corporation's Mars base. But there's still so much more we don't know. Was the Doomslayer banished by the forces of Hell once again, as Resurrector had successfully done? Will he meet with Samur Maker before his eventual journey to Earth and perhaps learn more about his intentions? Will we experience events like the betrayal faced by the Night Sentinels, leading to an all-out battle for survival in Hell, which eventually ends with Phelan's betrayal? Perhaps we'll get to experience all these events, which granted the Slayer his title, and the battle against the Titan chosen as the demon's champion, who also faced his demise. There is plenty of room to explore other interesting events, perhaps providing more details on King Novik, the Night Sentinel's leader. We may even experience the fateful battle in the Blood Arena, which led to the Slayer impressing them enough to provide further training, which led to his joining the Sentinels. It may be a bit anticlimactic if the game ends with him sealed in the sarcophagus to set up the events of Doom 2016, but who knows? Between piloting an Alton mech to beat up giant demons and participating in airborne battles with a dragon mount, there may yet be a climactic battle to close things out. Campaign DLC is also in the works, which could serve as the true bridge between the titles. Either way, there's plenty to look forward to in Doom: The Dark Ages, with the Slayer wielding a new shield saw, flail, and gauntlet, while being built more like a tank and barreling through the opposition. There's some hope that id Software will further expand on the lore even further, potentially setting up a post-Eternal story somewhere down the line. If The Dark Ages lives up to the hype and serves as the developer's biggest campaign thus far, you have to wonder where it could potentially go next. Then again, as long as there are demons to slay in droves, you can bet that the Slayer will be ready and waiting. Hey, did you know that we at GamingBolt upload new videos every day? Stick around, drop a like, subscribe, and hit that bell, and let us know what kind of content you'd like to see in the future with a comment below.